Hey everyone, welcome back to Revenge Reloaded. If you've ever had a sister who could look you in the eye, cry real-looking tears, and still betray you in the coldest way possible, then buckle up because this story is going to feel personal. You can call me Jessica. I'm 44 now, finally at peace after carrying a quiet fire inside me for 10 long years. Years that started when I was just 34 and my world fell apart. This is the full, detailed story of how my younger sister Ashley forged our dying mom's will, took every single penny and memory that was supposed to be split equally between us, and how I made the hardest choice of my life, to stay silent, play nice, and spend a whole decade gathering every piece of proof I needed before I exposed her lies in front of everyone who mattered. It wasn't the kind of revenge you see in movies. No yelling, no immediate courtroom drama. It was slow, patient, ice cold, and when it finally hit, it wiped out the perfect life she had built on stolen money. Get comfortable, maybe grab a drink or a blanket, because I'm not rushing this. I want you to feel every moment, the love we had, the pain of betrayal, the years of waiting, and the satisfaction when justice finally came. Let's go back to where it all started, because you can't understand the betrayal without knowing the love that came before it. I grew up in Colorado Springs in a little split-level house with pine trees in the yard and a view of the mountains on clear days. It was just Mom, my little sister Ashley, and me after Dad packed his bags and left when I was 8 and she was 6. Mom never bad-mouthed him, she just rolled up her sleeves and became Superwoman. By day she worked as a pharmacy technician, counting pills and chatting with customers like old friends. By night she cleaned office buildings downtown, coming home with tired feet but always a smile and a hug for us. Money was tight, but Mom made magic out of nothing. Leftovers became gourmet picnics on the living room floor. Hand-me-down clothes got new buttons and patches so they felt special. She saved every extra dollar, first in a coffee can, then in real bank accounts. By the time we were teenagers, she'd paid off the house completely and built up about $350,000 in savings, CDs, some conservative stocks, and a small life insurance policy. Plus, she had Grandma's diamond earrings, the ones with the tiny sparkles that caught the light when she turned her head. Over Sunday roast or spaghetti nights, Mom would say the same thing: "Girls, when I'm gone, everything gets split right down the middle, 50-50. The house, the money, the jewelry. No fighting, no lawyers, just love and fairness." We'd groan and say, "Mom, stop talking like that," but we'd promise anyway because we meant it. I was always the responsible big sister. Good grades, part-time jobs from 16, scholarships for college, marketing degree. At 27 I married Ryan, my steady, kind high school sweetheart who worked in IT and made me laugh every day. We had our son Mason when I was 30, perfect little boy with Ryan's eyes and my smile. We bought a modest starter home, and I switched to freelance event planning so I could work around Mason's schedule. Life was busy but good: school runs, birthday parties I planned for clients, weekend hikes with the family. Ashley was the firecracker, 2 years younger, outgoing, fearless. She jumped into real estate right after college and crushed it. Big commissions, flashy listings, trendy downtown apartments with city lights blinking through the windows at night. She drove a cute red convertible, posted photos from rooftop bars and last-minute trips to Vegas or Miami, always with captions like, "Living my best life." We were opposites, but we balanced each other. She'd come over and spoil Mason with toys and take him for ice cream. I'd help her write better descriptions for her listings or give advice when a deal went sour. Mom was so proud of both of us, she'd brag to her friends about "my responsible Jessica" and "my go-getter Ashley." Then came the day that changed everything forever. I was 34, in the middle of planning a big wedding for a client, when Mom called. Her voice was calm but different. "Jess, honey, it's cancer. Pancreatic. They say it's advanced." My heart stopped. The doctors gave her 6 to 9 months at best. It was aggressive, no real treatment options that would cure it. I canceled every upcoming event, took unpaid family leave, and moved into Mom's house that same week. Ryan was amazing. He took over all of Mason's school runs, packed lunches, bedtime stories, so I could focus completely on Mom. Those months were the hardest of my life. I learned things no daughter should have to know: how to adjust morphine doses, how to change adult diapers with dignity, how to hold a straw to lips that could barely sip water. Mom lost weight fast, her hair thinned, but she still tried to smile and tell stories about when we were little. I'd sit by her bed for hours reading her favorite books or playing soft jazz on the old record player. Some nights the pain was so bad she'd cry, and I'd cry with her, holding her hand until the meds kicked in. Ashley helped on weekends. She'd drive in from downtown, bring fancy smoothies or new gossip magazines, sit and talk about her latest big sale or a new guy she was dating. But weekdays were almost impossible for her: open houses, client meetings, closings she couldn't miss. I'd tell myself it was okay, her job was paying for some of Mom's extra comforts, and I wanted to be the one there for the day-to-day. But there were moments that hurt: Mom asking weekly, "Is Ashley coming today?" and me having to say no. Toward the end, when Mom was fading, she'd grab our hands together and whisper, 50-50, girls. Take care of each other. We'd both promise, tears streaming, and I'd believe we meant it with all our hearts. Mom passed on a quiet spring night. I was right there, holding her hand, telling her how much we loved her, when her breathing just slowed and stopped. It was peaceful, the way she wanted: no machines, just at home with family. Ashley arrived a few hours later, falling apart in my arms. We planned the funeral together: simple service, her favorite flowers, a reception at the house with all her old friends. We leaned on each other, or at least I thought we did. 2 weeks later, barely enough time to process the loss, Ashley texted me to come to her apartment. I thought we were finally sorting Mom's clothes or jewelry. Instead, there was a lawyer waiting in her living room, suit and briefcase and everything. Ashley sat me down with a cup of coffee and said softly, "Jess, Mom made some changes to her will near the end. She was really worried about me being on my own." The lawyer slid the document across the table. It was dated exactly 2 months before Mom died, on a day I remembered perfectly because Mom had been so deep in pain meds she couldn't even hold a pen without her hands shaking violently. This news will leave absolutely everything to Ashley. The house, all $350,000 in accounts and investments, the life insurance payout, even Grandma's diamond earrings that Mom had always said would go to Mason when he was older. My share? A short handwritten note attached to the will: Jessica is happily married with Ryan's good income and their own home. Ashley is still building her future alone and needs the support more. I read it 3 times before the words sank in. My hands started shaking. Ryan and I were comfortable, we had equity in our house, decent savings for emergencies, but we weren't rich. Daycare costs, Mason's activities, college looming in the distance. Mom's half was supposed to be our safety net, our reward for years of helping her too. I looked at Ashley: this can't be right. Mom was barely conscious that week. The lawyer calmly explained it was properly notarized with 2 witnesses present and completely legal. Ashley reached for my hand, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry, Jess. Mom made me promise to take care of everything. She didn't want you to worry." But for just a split second, before the tears came full force, I saw something in her eyes, a flash of relief, maybe even victory. It was gone as fast as it appeared, but it planted a seed of doubt that would grow into certainty. I didn't fight that day. I was still deep in grief, exhausted from months of caregiving, running on coffee and tears. The lawyer had papers for me to sign acknowledging I'd seen the will, and I did it with a numb hand. I took the family photo albums, Mom's handwritten recipe box, a few scarves that still smelled like her, and drove home in silence. Ashley hugged me goodbye like nothing had changed. Then she moved at lightning speed. Within 3 months she had the house, our childhood home, listed, sold for top dollar, and pocketed every cent. She upgraded to a stunning 2-bedroom condo downtown with floor-to-ceiling windows and mountain views, all new furniture, granite counters, the works. Traded her convertible for a brand new luxury SUV, started taking vacations to Mexico and Vegas and Europe. posting photos on Instagram with captions like, "Feeling so blessed," and "Grateful for family blessings," and "Living the life mom would have wanted for me." I went back to freelance event planning, picking up whatever gigs I could while raising Mason. Money was noticeably tighter than we'd planned. No cushion for emergencies, college savings growing slower. Friends and cousins kept asking why I didn't contest the will. I'd give the surface answer, "It's too expensive," and Mom was sick. Proving she wasn't of sound mind is nearly impossible. But that wasn't the full truth. Deep down, I knew in my gut that Ashley had taken advantage of Mom's weakest moments. And sitting in my quiet kitchen one night after Mason was asleep, I made a promise to myself and to Mom, this wasn't over. I would get proof. I would get justice. No matter how long it took. I didn't go no contact or start a big fight. That would have made her defensive and hidden things better. Instead, I played the role of the perfect, forgiving big sister. Birthday cards with long handwritten notes, liking every single Instagram post, even the ones that made my stomach turn, inviting her to Mason's school plays. And soccer tournaments. I hosted holiday dinners so she wouldn't be alone. And she took the bait completely. Over brunches or glasses of wine at my house, she'd open up about her life. The new designer bag she just had to have, the huge commission from a luxury listing, meeting this great guy named Ben who worked in finance and treated her like a queen. But confidence and a few drinks make people sloppy. She started dropping little breadcrumbs I quietly picked up. One night after too many margaritas during a sister's night I hosted, that notary was an old client who owed me big time from a deal years ago. She would have stamped anything I put in front of her without asking questions. Another time on the phone, laughing about how stressed she'd been, Mom was so doped up on those pain pills toward the end, she didn't even know what day it was, let alone what papers I was helping her sign. Every single one of those comments I saved, text screenshot, phone calls recorded legally in our one-party consent state, dates and quotes written in a hidden notebook on my laptop that Ryan didn't even know about. Late at night when the house was quiet, I'd research. I took free online courses about probate law, undue influence cases, elder financial abuse. I learned what made a will contestable and what evidence courts actually cared about. I started saving every extra dollar from smaller gigs, birthday money from Ryan's parents, tax refunds, until I had enough to hire a certified forensic handwriting expert. I sent them copies of Mom's real signatures from checks and cards from healthier times compared to the shaky one on the new will. The report came back devastating. Significant discrepancies in pressure, fluidity, and formation consistent with impaired motor control and likely lack of genuine intent. I tracked down one of the two witnesses through Facebook, an old neighbor who'd moved to Denver. I started with casual, "Remember when?" messages, then gently asked about that day. She replied that Mom had been pretty out of it, actually asleep on the couch, when Ashley arrived with the papers to sign. The notary had retired and moved to Arizona. I found her new address through public records and sent a simple handwritten letter, no accusations, just saying I was trying to understand Mom's final wishes for closure. Weeks later I got a reply full of guilt. Ashley had called it urgent family business, rushed the signing, and Mom never even looked up from the pillow. Life kept moving forward on the surface. Mason grew from a sweet little boy into a lanky teenager. Little league turned into varsity soccer. Sleepovers turned into study groups and first crushes. Ryan and I celebrated anniversaries with quiet dinners out when we could afford a babysitter. We managed financially, but every big expense, new brakes on the car, Mason's braces, saving for college, reminded me of what had been stolen. Ashley's life, meanwhile, sparkled brighter than ever. She got serious with Ben, got engaged with a ring that could blind you, married in a destination wedding in Mexico that I helped plan parts of because you're the best at events, Jess. They bought an even bigger condo together, traveled first class, threw lavish parties. Her Instagram was a highlight reel of success and happiness, always with captions about hard work paying off and honoring family. I kept showing up with a smile for every family photo, every holiday, every milestone. And I kept waiting for the perfect moment. That moment finally arrived last year when Ashley turned 42. She decided to throw the most extravagant birthday party I'd ever seen, rented the hottest rooftop venue downtown with panoramic views, live band, custom signature cocktails, professional photographer, caterers, over 150 guests including family, old friends from high school, her biggest real estate clients, and even the original lawyer who handled Mom's estate. She called me a month in advance, voice bubbling with excitement. "Jess, you have to come. We're the only real family we have left. Let's celebrate life and put any old sadness behind us forever." I told her I'd love to. And I spent those weeks preparing the best birthday gift she would ever receive. The night was pure glamour, city lights twinkling below, champagne flowing like water, Ashley glowing in a custom designer dress that probably cost more than my car. She gave a long, emotional speech thanking Ben for being her rock, her friends for their support, her career for the opportunities it brought. Then she turned to me with tears in her eyes for the crowd, and the biggest thank you to my incredible big sister Jessica, who's always had my back through thick and thin. I wouldn't be the woman I am today without her love and support. The entire rooftop erupted in applause and us. People raised glasses for us. Cameras flashed. Ashley beamed, thinking that public declaration sealed her version of the story forever, made it impossible for me to ever challenge her without looking bitter or crazy. I waited patiently through dinner and the first round of dessert. Then, when the cake had been cut and plates were being passed around, I stood up calmly and asked if I could say a few words too. Ashley smiled huge, dabbing her eyes. She truly believed I was finally, publicly giving my blessing. I raised my glass with a warm smile. To my beautiful little sister Ashley on her 42nd birthday, I began, voice steady and clear so everyone could hear. You've always been the smart one, the driven one, the one who knows exactly how to get what she wants, no matter what it takes. People smiled and nodded, thinking it was sweet. Then I continued, 10 years ago, you proved just how clever you really are, when you forged Mom's will while she lay dying from cancer, pressured a guilty notary, coerced witnesses, and stole the entire inheritance that Mom promised again and again would be split equally between us. You could have heard a champagne cork drop. The entire rooftop went dead silent. Faces froze mid-sip. I calmly handed out thick, professionally bound folders to the head table first, starting with Ben, then the original lawyer, then Ashley's closest friends and biggest clients. Inside were copies of everything: the forensic handwriting report, the witness statements, the notary's confession letter, printed text messages, call transcripts, all time-stamped, notarized, and organized. Ashley went ghost white. "This is insane. She's lying, she's always been jealous of my success," she stammered, voice cracking. But Ben was already flipping pages, his face turning from confusion to shock to disgust. The lawyer quietly excused himself and left. Guests started whispering. Phones came out, some recording, some texting. By the next morning, scanned copies of the evidence were circulating in every group chat and email thread in our extended circle. The fallout was swift and absolute. Ben packed a bag that very week, stayed with a friend, and filed for divorce once he saw the full depth of her deception. He told me later he couldn't stay married to someone capable of exploiting their own dying mother, let alone lying to everyone's face for a decade. Word spread like wildfire through the real estate community. Clients pulled their listings, referrals stopped coming, big deals fell apart when people learned the truth. I hired a probate attorney who specialized in elder abuse and fraud cases. We filed to reopen Mom's estate with the mountain of evidence. The judge didn't even need a long trial. The fraud was clear and overwhelming. Ashley was ordered to repay my full 50% of the original inheritance plus 10 years of compound interest and growth it would have earned, plus all my legal fees and penalties for undue influence. She had to sell the condo at a loss in a cooling market, liquidate investments, and ended up renting a small one-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. Her luxury SUV got repossessed when payments fell behind. She's still trying to sell real estate, but now it's only the low-commission starter homes that no one else wants. I used my recovered share wisely, paid off the last of our mortgage so the house is truly ours free and clear, fully funded Mason's college account so he can choose any school without loans, and Ryan and I finally took that dream trip to Italy we'd been putting off for years. Mason is now in his second year of college, thriving, and he knows the full truth about his aunt. He chose to keep distance too. Ashley sends the occasional holiday text or birthday message, but I don't reply. Last I heard through a mutual acquaintance, she's still trying to keep up some version of appearances online, but the posts are fewer, the smiles look forced, and the comments are different. Do I have regrets about waiting 10 whole years? Not a single one. She got to enjoy a decade living high on money that was never truly hers. Now she lives with the truth, and the consequences, every single day. And I finally have peace knowing Mom's real wishes were honored, even if it took time. So tell me in the comments, could you have stayed patient and quiet for 10 full years while building your case? Or would you have confronted everything right from the start? I read every single comment. You guys are the reason I share these stories, and your experiences inspire the next ones. If this one had you hooked from beginning to end, please smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the bell notification, so you never miss a new Revenge Reloaded. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, stay strong, protect what's yours, and always remember, the truth has a way of finding the light, even if it takes a decade. See you soon.